What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about SwiftCoin today. Hit that like button out there, you Swiftonites, and let's get started. Okay, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Here we are at about 1.4136 cents, still holding support at prior areas of resistance here, holding support beautifully, looking good. We even held support for a moment here on a given day. If we look at the RSI, we are at the same areas that we held support at before. Areas, not the exact point, but this general area. We even found support a little bit above this area here back in time here whenever we went overbought. We got overbought here. The last two times that we did that, we saw a move that was something like this. And then the next time that we saw something like this. Generally, whenever you see movements like this where you're getting well, that's not what I meant to do. Where you're getting overbought, you come out of the overbought zone, but you don't get oversold, and you come back into the overbought zone. When you're getting like iterations that continue or that happen in short amount of times, it's not like this where it's all spread out like this. Like short amount of times like this, generally speaking, the moves get bigger. Okay, it's the relative strength index. So to get, if you're relatively strong right now, if you're seeing relatively strong moves, then to get to the same readings, you have to see a relatively stronger move. Does that make sense? Because to get to this reading, that means that you're at relative strength in comparison to the move before, which if it was smaller, that means I don't know how else to explain it. I feel like I'm explaining exactly how I would explain it, but I don't know if it makes sense. All I'm trying to say is if we were to get to the overbought zone again, I would anticipate a move that is similar to this, but probably bigger than this. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense? That's what I'm trying to say. If we look at the volume, most of the volume here seems to be coming when we're moving up. When we're moving up, none of it seems to be coming when we're moving down. It seems as though, to me, and it's not even seemingly, it just is very factually here, you can see that the price moves up without hesitation. It just moves up in a very quick and easy kind of way, but when it moves down, it's very methodical. It's taking a lot of time. This is good. This is structured. This is methodical, and it seems like you're going somewhere. You're not stopping here, okay? If we look at this last area of support that you held, that was actually kind of not, I was going to say it looks like it was at prior areas of resistance, but it wasn't, to be completely fair. Maybe that was a slip. Maybe this area is the better area to look at, kind of near areas of resistance, but still kind of obscure. However, this one is right here at prior areas of resistance. Really good support. If we look at this low to high here, we tipped the golden ratio, which is the 618, right here at this white line, tipped it for support. Now, what I don't like about this is you found resistance on the 0.5. You didn't get above the 0.5. Generally speaking, when you see this kind of scenario, you almost always go lower than the low before. If not, you run into the 786 or 886. So just be aware, my friends, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It's completely possible that SwiftCoin could move down. In fact, by the way of the fibs, how this looks, to me, it seems rather undeniable that we would move down to at least 1.09 cents, if not even 0.89 cents, somewhere in here. However, I don't think we are moving lower. By the way of the fibs, this makes a lot of sense, but I think we can make sense out of it through other means that you wouldn't move lower. And just, I'm saying this not because I expect it to happen. I'm not expecting that we move lower. I'm saying it because if it does happen, you'll be prepared for this kind of price or these kind of prices. And instead of panic selling, you will panic buy because it's a buying opportunity. It will be a higher low, something to build from, and every higher target that we talk about in this video, it would still happen. It would just happen at a later date. Okay, it's inevitable that SwiftCoin's not just going to see new all-time highs, but highs that are, I really think this thing's going to be worth multiple dollars by the end of the cycle, genuinely. Is it multiple dollars for this one, or is it actually $1? Let me make sure. Hold on real quick. SwiftCoin. I believe it will at least be above $1. I know that much, but let's see. If it's at 1.4 cents now, 141, yeah, this thing's going to be worth multiple dollars by the end of the cycle. I'm very convinced that it will be worth multiple dollars. If not, at least something above $1. Okay, we'll get into that a little bit later, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't misleading anybody on that. I talk about so many cryptos, sometimes I forget what's what, and I gotta refresh my mind. It's been a little bit since we talked about SwiftCoin, hasn't it? Let's see, how long has it been? Swift. Let's see. Oh no, it's only been a day. And then before that it was 2 days. Man, time is pretty fast in the crypto markets, isn't it, you guys? Okay, so from a low to a high. Oh, and shout out, who was it that requested this? Somebody requested this. Hold up. What it was? Let me see. Period. Or dot, one of the two. It's just period. So shout out to period, Mr. or Mrs. Period, or dot, whatever you want to go by. 1.4 cents right now at the golden ratio. if you were to go lower, I've given you those targets. Let's look at the daily time frame real quick. I don't think you go lower, but you need to make a move soon. The longer that you consolidate in this area, the more likely you will go lower, because oftentimes with this area, you want to see a kind of rather quick reaction to the upside. If not, you're going to go somewhere that will create a quick reaction, something that'll make you kind of wick out and see that. So it is possible we could go lower. Let's look at that before we start talking about higher prices. Okay, looking at the 4-hour time frame here. 4-hour time frame, relative lows to relative highs. We're going to take the fib on this, relative low to the relative high. Come on now, that wasn't it. You know what I want. There we go. 786 bounce. You closed above the golden ratio, and then you closed back below it. The fibs, guys, are telling me that this thing wants to go lower. The fibs are telling me that you want to go to about 1 cent. That's what the fibs are telling me. The fibs normally don't fib. Don't let them fib to you. 4-hour RSI actually looks good, though. A little bit of confliction there. You broke out of your downtrend. You're in a modest uptrend right now, bouncing off of the 40. The whole market is about to be bullish, short of like a market-wide drop, which could happen still. We don't have confirmation that we're going to move up. I anticipate that Bitcoin's going to be at $100,000 or more by the end of this week. So, take that for what it's worth. I would think that SwiftCoin would have a hard time moving down in those kind of environments. Let's look at the 1-hour time frame. Yeah, the 1-hour looks good too. The 1-hour looks more bullish. The 4-hour looks more bullish. The daily's a bit uncertain, but if we move up, between now and the end of this week, I think we'll be fine. As long as we don't linger here for like another week or so, I think that we'll be fine. Or obviously if we move down. Hard to say. A little bit of a head scratcher. I'm gonna lean with the fact that I don't believe we go down, but if we do, I'm going to give strong consideration to the 1 cent area, psychological area of support, and both on fibs and then also on the price action, we find support and prior areas of resistance there as well, right? If I put a shelf right here, you've got resistance right there at 1 cent, closing resistance right there, wicking around this area right there at 1 cent. I bet if we go back in time, okay, just below there to be completely fair, but yeah. It wouldn't be crazy. It wouldn't be a bad thing. If it happens, it's not a bad thing. It's just a prime opportunity to buy. As Michael Saylor would say, sell your kidneys. But now let's talk about the upside. Let's talk about the upside. Okay, what's the upside? And not the app. High to low, we're at 1.4 cents now. 6.8 cents would be the minimum target. 10 cents, 10.8 cents would be the maximum target of our primary target zone. You get above 10.8 cents, 10.9 cents, whatever, you gained access immediately to the secondary target zone, which is the 1886 to the 2618, something between about 42 cents to 15.6 cents, somewhere in that zone. We're at 1.427 cents now. That would result in a move at a bare, absolutely most pessimistic minimum price that I could absolutely see happening. Let's see. And I don't even see this one happening, to be completely fair. I think SwiftCoin's going to go to 11 cents at a minimum, but by the way of the fibs, the most pessimistic outcome I could come up with whenever you do move higher is something that's around about a 4.6x. Again, I don't think SwiftCoin stops there. I think that SwiftCoin, again, if it gets back to the premise that we had with the daily RSI, if it gets back to the overbought zone, likely you see a move of a similar magnitude, but it's going to be bigger. So if we take this move from the low to the high, and it just happens to be the low of this range, but I want to get the move itself. I feel like this is whenever it started its move, right? It's not a full straight move up. There are forms of consolidation within this move up, but overall, I think that's a good measurement of this move. If we were to say start this next move, maybe it started at this low. Let's take the lowest price, because if we put it any higher, it's just going to give higher predictions, and let's be as conservative as we can be so that we're pleasantly surprised and not left wanting more, right? Here, I'm going to delete this one here. We're just going to delete that. That would give you something that's between the 1414 and the 1618. And that's actually a genuine possibility right there. Right below 10 cents, psychological area of resistance going right above the 1414. Very common. Very, very common to not stop right at the 1414, but to get above it. Just a little bit above it, wick above it, and then close below it. So if you saw something like this on a daily basis where you wick above the 1414 and then you close below it, I'm not saying that means you have to go down and reject there. That doesn't mean your move is over. But it could mean that, right? So something of that magnitude, I suppose, would give you a, let's see. Oh, wait. Let's before we do that, let's run with this. So again, anticipating that if you get overbought, that would imply that not only do you see a move of a similar magnitude, but it would likely be larger. The 1618 is just above there, so that is at about 11 cents. Beyond that, you could see 15 cents, 18 cents. To me, that would be the most likely target destination, with the absolute acceptable possibility outcome that you could see 26 to 42 cents as well. I think you get to 42 cents. That's a little bit out there for this next move by the end of April, but it could happen. SwiftCoin could get out there, man. When it breaks out to new all-time highs, if traction catches, SwiftCoin is not at the highest market cap. 141 million is not the highest market cap out there, man. It could definitely do some damage if it wanted to. I mean, a 20x, 30x, it could happen. We've seen cryptos do a lot more in a lot less time, but again, by the end of April, I'm expecting at the highest, I wouldn't even say 42. That would really shock me. 26 is an acceptable outcome, but I'm expecting 15 to 18 cents by the end of April. By the end of March, maybe somewhere around 8 to 11 cents, maybe. And then what was it that I was going to say before I got on that whole note there? Oh, right. I was going to measure what those targets would be from the current price. So the current price is at about 1.418 cents. If we move up to the golden ratio, which is my personal expected minimum. By the way of the fibs, the minimum is actually at about a 4.8x from here, right? Am I doing that right? Did it just move up? How? Hold on, I moved it at the wrong place. Let me put it here. Come on, man. Why are you doing this? Why is it not connecting? I want you right there. There we go. Okay. That would be a 4.75x. But I'm expecting that you go here. That would actually give SwiftCoin the means of about a 7.6x to a near 13x. That's what C-Zar expects to happen by the end of April. That's my expectations. With the acceptance that we might stop as low as a 4.7x. With the acceptance that we could go as high as an 18x or maybe even a 30x. But anything past that would likely be reserved. And in fact, anything above 20 cents, I think, or too much above 20 cents would probably be reserved for later moves in the cycle, okay? This is by the end of April. By the end of the year, I think SwiftCoin will, by the end of the cycle, I think SwiftCoin will be worth multiple dollars. But by the end of this move, right, what do I mean by move? I mean, this was a move up, and then we consolidated. This was a move up, and then we consolidated, right? What's the next move going to be? Likely somewhere around 15 to 18 cents is what I'm thinking, right? Yeah, 15.6 to 18 cents. That's my expectation. Okay, SwiftCoin, as far as its low goes, I'm pretty confident that the low is here, but it is a little bit more tricky looking than some of these charts are. You have broken out of your downtrend, have you? Let's see. I don't even know where I would draw this. Would it be like this down here? You kind of broke out of it and then broke back into it. Now you're back testing this as resistance. Do I like this line? It's not the most clean cut downtrend, is it? I suppose that interacts with some good lines. That might be the line of best fit. I don't know. You know what? Maybe it's not a specific trend. Let's use something I don't use too often, which is the fib channel. Little trick I picked up from Mitch Ray along the way. If you guys don't know who Mitch Ray is, shout out to Mitch Ray. Brad Fisher is lame as hell, but Mitch Ray's kind of cool. Let's see. Yeah, that could make sense. And it might not even be something to that magnitude. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Let's see. Let's shorten you up. Let's make it more like this. Yes. Something around this area. That seems right. Finding resistance at this green line here, finding a little support here, hitting the heart line, as Mitch would call it, finding support at the red line. Yeah, you're just in the lower half of this downward sloping trend. So I would think once you get above this yellow line, that's when it's time. And then by default, you'd be breaking out of the downtrend too. That's when it's time to really start considering higher prices. So as of now, if you were to do that today, that price is at about 1.65 cents. By the end of this week, that price would be at about 1.53 cents. So as long as you're above, I would guess like 1.5 cents by the end of this week, it would look really good for growth to come in a very short amount of time. So I think you'll do that. I do think you'll move up. You're moving up with volume. You're moving down without volume here. So I absolutely expect you're going to move up in a very short amount of time. I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. Let's look at some ribbons. Let's do some MA ribbon analysis here. And we can use the LRO too. Ribbon on the 4 hour looks bearish, but the 4 hour is not that significant. I'm not worried about it. Actually, the ribbon looks bullish, to be completely fair. You got contracted, you expanded down, and now you're back into it. This is actually a bull. This seems to me like you do want to see a little bit of a cross. Daily looks like it's about to cross. Okay, guys, so this is what I mean. This is what I mean on the RSI, how I was saying it needs to happen soon. Same thing with the ribbon here. You need to move up soon. And specifically, I would like to see you get above 1.66 cents within the next couple days. by the end of this week for sure. It needs to happen. It can cross a little bit. You can have a false cross, but you need to get above there by the end of this week. You need to get above 1.6 cents, and my nose keeps itching. 1.7 cents by the end of the week. People make jokes in the comments that I do cocaine. I've never done cocaine in my life, you guys. I'm not saying I've never done drugs in my life or like mushrooms or anything like that, but I've never done cocaine. It's never interested me, right? But I do itch my nose. I don't know why I'm itching my nose so much right now, but it is really itchy. And it's not a good look to counter what I'm saying here, but whatever. You don't have to believe me. It's the truth, whatever. Some people just don't, man. That doesn't, like I've smoked weed. I've done mushrooms before. I've done other things than that, but nothing hard. I don't know. I've never had the interest to do anything that's really too hard. The hardest thing that I've ever done is probably a whip it. That's probably the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, honestly. Getting a little bit personal there, but on a 3-day time frame, the ribbon, man, the 3-day ribbon would actually suggest that you do go a little bit lower, down to like 1.12 cents. It could happen. It's very possible. I'm gonna have to blow my nose after this or something, man. I don't know what's going on with me. Weekly ribbon, the weekly, man. The ribbon really is. It's making me think that we do go lower. Man, that's hard. That's hard to say. I'm very conflicted. I'm gonna put my name on the line here, you guys. It's not like it matters. The internet forgets things in a day anyways, right? And if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. Anytime that I've been wrong, I'll be wrong. You can't expect with technical analysis to be right every time. If you do, it's just, you can't be. Nobody's going to be right every single time. Not even the best technical analyst in the world. In fact, the best technical analyst in the world, you give them a chart 1 out of 10 times, 2 out of 10 times, 5 out of 10 times. They're going to be wrong on any given week, right? It depends. Some people go on heaters, right? You can be right, and I've been on heaters before. I've been on cold streaks. It just happens, and sometimes the market's easier to read and interpret than other times. Okay, you know what? Here's a little bit of hope, though. Here's a little bit of hope. And I was going to say I'm going to put my name on the line. I was going to say that I think that we're going to move up, not move down, but the ribbon looks like it wants to move down. However, the ribbon looked like it wanted to go down here too, and you didn't. Similar kind of look. The reason why I say it wants to go down is because when you live in the ribbon like this, oftentimes you don't get back above it until you at least find support below it. But you didn't do that here, even though you have the exact same look. So maybe you don't have to do that. And the weekly ribbon, it's also looking a bit bad. But if this week can close green, I suppose that would be okay. So you need to close this week green. You need to do all the other things. Closing above 1.66 cents in the next couple days, certainly by the end of the week, is a must. If not, then we can talk about prices around 1 cent, and then we can go up from there. All the same targets to the upside. It's just, it might take a little bit longer. That's all I got for you. If you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye.